If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, comment, and subscribe to my YouTube channel, as well as follow me and subscribe to me on all my other social media platforms. What's up, Thrashers, and welcome back once again to the Thrash Maniac 99 YouTube channel, and we are back for day 2 of the 12 Days of Metal collaboration holiday series that is happening on this YouTube channel, where myself and other YouTubers who love heavy metal talk about our favorite album from a certain subgenre, whether it be classic metal, doom metal, speed metal, thrash metal, death metal, black metal, progressive metal, power metal, metalcore, gothic metal, grindcore, and alternative metal. Basically talking about the major subgenres in heavy metal, not sub-subgenres, so to speak. So, today we are talking doom metal. Basically, doom metal was kind of like the next evolution of classic heavy metal, whereas pretty much by the time the late 70s came around, when the new wave of British heavy metal started to come up and take over, basically metal started to splinter into like two different directions as far as tempos. You got classic metal, which is geared a little bit more towards the more speedy and almost borderline thrashy, and then you got the other side that wanted to keep the slow, deliberate sound of Black Sabbath going, and thus we get doom metal as a result. And now there are a plethora of great bands in all of doom, whether it be in stoner, sludge, death doom, blackened doom, folky doom, whatever you can think of. But the album I'm going to be talking about for doom metal is, why not, one of the pillar albums that really got the genre started in the first place, and the band that not only created doom, but heavy metal as a whole, and that is, of course, Black Sabbath with Master of Reality. Now, I've talked about this album at length during the Black Sabbath album ranking video, which you should definitely check out that video. It was a lot of fun. It was just over a week ago at the time of this coming out. But yeah, Master of Reality, I just can't justify not picking this album for this particular subgenre of metal, because basically most of these songs really capture what doom metal's all about, and the subgenres of doom, like Sweetleaf. It's slow, heavy, doomy, but very much kind of inventing stoner metal to an extent, because after all, the title Sweetleaf, and they wrote it on weed, no pun intended. But then you get into other tracks like Lord of this World, which is very slow and very just powerful and just filled with amazing riffage and hooks all over the place. But most importantly of all, the big song that really makes this a pillar doom metal album to me, Into the Void. That closing track, it's just heavy metal, doom metal perfection that almost kind of invented sludge a little bit, because there were moments where it speeds up a little bit into like what would eventually be known as speed metal a little bit, but then when it slows down and brings it back down to a nice slow bluesy groove, man, that is doom metal right there, that song. But even the other tracks that are slower but just not as slow, like After Forever and Solitude, which that's just a melodic track, and then Children of the Grave has moments of doom, but it's mostly that classic Sabbath swing and almost, that made so much sense, but kind of almost invented thrash to an extent, because the chugging riffs that go on that feel kind of thrashy. But when it comes to doom metal, this is one of the pillar albums that really got the genre started later on in the 70s heading into the 80s. This was the important album for that style. But of course, that's just my opinion and my album. Let's see what my other cohorts feel and what they chose.
Hey guys, it's Master and I'm back. Now we're moving on to day number 2. Número 2 in Levi's 12 Days of Metal, which, I gotta be honest, this was a brilliant day for Levi to do this, but it's gonna be a pain in the ass to find the albums, because there's a lot of albums for these subgenres that I'm trying to figure it out. But in this day, we're going to a bit more slower into the subgenre of metal. We're gonna be tackling the almighty doom metal. Now with doom metal, you can go different ways. I could have easily gone with my usual, neck of the woods with Death Doom. More specifically, melodic Death Doom could have gone with something from Swallow Sun. Could have gone for something from maybe My Dying Bride. But being that it's traditionally death metal, I went with the more traditional death metal subgenre. And there was a lot of albums that came up to mind. Of course, I could have gone with Epicus Dumicus Metallicus by, of course, Cattlemas, being that's in the title. You could have gone to something from Saint Vitus, the subtitle Saint Vitus. There's a lot of albums that came up to mind. But for doom metal, there's only one album that immediately I had to get. And of course, I'm talking about Black Sabbath with the third studio album, Master of Reality. Of course, one of the most, if not the most important album is the development of death metal, being that a lot of people, like myself, and of course a lot of metalheads have made the argument that Master Reality is the initiation, the genesis of what eventually become doom metal, and then eventually might maybe sludge and all that, whatnot and so forth. But when you start off an album with Sweetly, but of course that infamous coughing up, you know this one's gonna be a really killer album. But by this point, Black Sabbath were skyrocketing in their fame because this was the third studio album. A lot of people thought that after Paranoid they couldn't get any better, and lo and behold, this beast of an album came to existence. And like I said, Sweet Leaf, the start of the album, is a great album. It's a great introduction to the album. Children of the Grave, probably my favorite song on the entire album. Of course, that infamous bass from Geezer Butler. Ozzy's vocals in this entire album are outstanding. Tony's guitaring is, one more can I say about Tony's guitaring, he's the fucking metal god. Geezer's bass been better. Bill's drumming was more on point. I believe at this time, Black Sabbath were beginning to mature more as a band in both lyrically and musically in terms of how they wrote the lyrics, how their instrumentation was beginning to become more, more mature. That's the perfect way I can say it. But Black Sabbath Master Reality, like I mentioned before, is the pioneer of doom metal that eventually inspired bands like Saint Vitus. Maybe a band like Cattlemas eventually helped the way for subgenres like Death Doom, Mellow Death Doom, and hell, even Funeral Doom, which is another subgenre that you can go on and on and on and on and on. But honestly, the beginning of doom metal was with Master of Reality, and Into the Void is another great track. Solitude, everything about this fucking album is pure perfection, to be honest, because without this album, doom metal wouldn't be what it is today. Like we've all mentioned before, without Black Sabbath, there is no doom metal, there is no heavy metal, there's almost basically nothing in metal. So for those reasons, for day number 2, I chose Master of Reality by Black Sabbath.
My favorite doom metal record. Okay, well, we're gonna go with 1993's Typo Negative's Bloody Kisses. Now, I know a lot of people were thinking to themselves, this is a gothic rock record, and bullshit. All right, underneath all the Beatlesque harmonies and the keyboards and such is a very doomy, gloomy as fuck record. All right, you cannot take that away. All right, standout tracks include Black Number 1, Christian Woman, Blood and Fire, Too Late, Kill All the White People. All right, this is a doom record, and it's my favorite doom record. So we're gonna leave it at that.
What's up, guys? The Just Josh here for day 2 of the 12 days of metal. Today is doom metal. My pick for doom metal is Swallow the Sun, The Morning Never Came. This is Swallow the Sun's debut album released in 2003. Now this is more of a melodic doom band. They kind of have some death metal elements as well, and doom metal honestly is a genre I really haven't delved into much. But I remember hearing this album a while back, and I really liked it. So yeah, this album has a lot of great, just slow, very moody riffs, great vocals, death growls mostly get lower growling vocals, but there's some clean vocals on tracks like Hold This Low and the title track. But the opening track, Through Her Silverly Body, just took me right in. just led me right in. This track is amazing. Starts off with a very moody piano lead, and then the guitars come in and play the same thing the piano plays, just, you know, on guitar. And then the vocals come in. It's an amazing song. Other great tracks on this album are Deadly Nightshade, Out of the Gloomy Light, and Sounds of the Womb. And yeah, took a chance on a new genre. Ended up really liking this album. I'm gonna have to check out more of Swallow the Sun's albums. I've heard they're a really good band, one of the best melodic doom bands. So yeah.
What's going on, guys? BossUp86 here, back to another video, and today I'm here to do the second day of the 12 Days of Metal. Now, on the first day of Christmas, my true love gave to me one painkiller. That doesn't sound really intriguing. That sounds like a crappy Christmas gift. But anyways, what did the second day of my true love give to me? Well, the genre we're talking about is doom metal. Now, I could have easily gone with Black Sabbath with this one, but in all honesty, as much as they created it, there's one band that I think perfected it. The band I call the Judas Priest of doom metal, and if you guys see my retrospective on them, you guys already know it's the almighty Candlemass. This one was kind of tough because considering they have a lot of great albums. Again, I don't think they have a bad album. Their amazing debut in 1986, Epicus Doomicus Metallicus, one of the best debuts of all time. Then you have Messiah McCollum come on vocals, and then you had Nightfall, Ancient Dreams, and then Tales of Creation, and even their comeback album in 2005, the self-titled album, I thought that was their best album. But then we get into the Rob Lowe era. And this one was very tough because I think the Rob Lowe era is my personal favorite because I really love all the albums there. But the one album I choose that is my favorite is gotta be King of the Grey Islands. I think this album is one of the best albums of all time, and it's one of the best doom metal albums of all time. It's up there with any Pentagram, any St. Vitus, any Trouble, and any Candlemass album, in my personal opinion. I think it is one of, if not the best doom metal album of all time. If not, certainly my personal favorite, because the guitar tone is absolutely crushing. It's almost or as heavy as the self-titled. And just the songwriting is absolutely superb on this album. Now, what is my favorite track? Again, like with Painkiller, you can literally throw a dart and you would not be wrong on this. Because you have Emperor of the Void, Demonia 6, you have Clear Sight, Embracing the Sticks. Just so many great tracks of Stars and Smoke. There's so many great songs on this. If I had to pick one track, though, man, I gotta say Embracing the Six. Only because I think it's one of the best doom metal songs. And I would not be wrong because this thing is epic. The bass line is absolutely crushing that. And then once that riff hits, it's like, oh my god, that thing's heavy. Again, I literally could have said every track, but I had to go with Embracing the Sticks. Now, how did I find this album? Literally just going through the entire catalog. I did hear some say that this was a really great album. And after going through, I honestly thought that the self-titled was the best album that the band's ever done. Because I'm like, that right there, that's probably the best album I've heard so far. And then I listened to this album, and I thought this album absolutely blew the self-titled away. I love the self-titled. I consider that the best Messiah album. But I think this album has got a very, like, dark, bleak, just crushing riffs. Now, how does this, like, connect to me? What does this album mean to me? To me, I connect with this. I don't know how I really connect with this in some way. Like, it doesn't do anything for me personally. It just does, you know, just going through the tough times, and it just make me feel like more triumphant, and it makes me feel so, I don't know, I guess you could say, I wouldn't say I'm fine, but it makes me feel like a little more uplifting, because you still have like the bleak moments on this album, but you also have the, you know, the more heavier stuff, and it just such an epic journey of an album. I just think this album, it's a very imaginative. It really paints a picture in your mind with all these songs. Like, again, like Stars and Smoke and Emperor of the Void and all that stuff. It's such an imaginative album that it's really, 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 really good. And yeah, I really consider this one of the best doom metal albums of all time, and if not, it's probably my favorite doom metal album of all time. So yeah, that is it for day 2 here, folks. Now, day 3 is going to be certainly interesting because, oh boy, that one's a bit tricky, but it shouldn't be that hard. So thank you guys for watching this. What is your favorite doom metal album? Let me know. And I'll talk to you guys in the next video. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe. Jordan Hurd, talk in the next video. Peace out.
Thank you guys so much for watching this episode of the 12 Days of Metal. Hope you guys enjoyed the following albums that we've talked about on this episode, and I hope you all have a very Merry Christmas indeed. Horns high. See you guys in the new year.